Hello and welcome to Uplift. It's a joy to be with you. I'm looking forward to spending just a few moments to, in fact, uplift us in ways that are just right for us. I welcome you here, and as we start, please join me in a little time of centering and prayer. Taking this wonderful breath, just that, nothing to do right now except to breathe. Recognizing that that is a gift from God. That's breathing the life right into us. It's our opportunity to celebrate this precious moment. Taking that breath again to just appreciate all that it took for you to get to this point in your life. Coming together today, we are celebrating gratitude. We are celebrating ourselves. We are celebrating this gift of life that is God-given. And so relaxing and trusting that everything we need is right here. We receive it, we acknowledge it, we accept it, and we are grateful for it. Joining me now as we resume our attention back, we bring our attention back up. We engage yet again with this moment, and hopefully you felt a little soothing in that, a little gratitude, even just for your very breath. And this is this month, is it not? This month that we take a little extra time to be grateful. And so we're going to talk about that in some ways, and I have a special little technique and tip to share with you that helps us appreciate even more of what's going on. So there's a quote here from Wendell Berry. Be joyful even when you have considered all the facts. Be joyful even when you've considered all the facts. And we do that sometimes, don't we? We think about the facts, and then we think about this angle and that problem and that consideration and that contingency. And after all those facts, it's tempting to feel burdened. It's tempting to feel a little bit less than joyful, and that's when we can actually intend the joy. So even when you've done the research, even when you've collected all the facts and maybe the expense that's involved in what you want, or the challenges or the work, be joyful. We're joyful because in fact we are here to do that, to be engaged in our lives, to have work to do, to have obstacles to overcome, and finances to receive. That's the joy of this experience, is it not? To be in our lives and to be joyful, even when we have all that data that might tell us otherwise. So there's this couple of little scenarios I wanted to share with you. I have these actually in a blog on my website, but one of the first stories is about a woman we're calling Jennifer. So Jennifer has recently been through a painful divorce, and she's not sleeping well. She's having difficulty with her children. They blame her for the divorce. Her work life is rocky as well, and sometimes she's unsure if she's even in the right career. What she thinks: yes, it's rough right now, and life has difficult times. Really, I'm so grateful to be alive, for my children, for my home, for my good health, for all that I have. Now here's a story about Robert. Robert has lots of everything. A nice apartment, a well-paying job, a new car, and nice clothes. But he didn't get that last promotion at work. His last vacation was a disappointment, and no matter how hard he tries, he just can't save money. What he thinks: I just don't understand why things are going so wrong. It just seems it's not fair when I work so hard. People don't appreciate me, and I deserve better than this. Well, simply said, Robert's approach is holding a grievance. he's upset about what's missing or what's wrong. Jennifer is about being grateful for all that you have. And we know that gratitude is certainly not a new idea. It's certainly in every spiritual philosophy that we've known about and heard about. It's kind of key there, right in there with compassion. So we know that that's central, that idea of gratitude. But lately, gratitude sort of becoming less of just an idea to a concrete practice, that we absolutely can practice gratitude with intention. What it does is it helps us focus on what others have done for us, and it de-emphasizes the temptation to be angry or simply to blame others for our problems. So the contrast there is to be grateful for what we have and not blame others for our problems or in any way to be angry to them, about them, with them. This quote is from Greg Kretsch. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's K-R-E-C-H. When we develop a sense of appreciation for those around us and cultivate a sense of gratitude for life itself, we are relieved of the burden that comes with seeing ourselves as victims. He calls this a state of grace. That term's used in many religions, is it not? But the idea that here is that grace is a practice, not just a belief. It's a shift. It's a shift in our thinking. And I know that through the Centers for Spiritual Living and Science of Mind and Spirit, we've certainly heard a lot about thinking and the idea that we can, in fact, change our thinking and change our life. So his idea here is that the difference between seeing life as an entitlement and seeing life as a gift. So I invite you to take that thought into your awareness right now. We're not entitled to life. It is absolutely a gift. It's a gift from Spirit. It's the gift of that breath that we so freely took when we were aware of it. It's the gift of every breath. We're not talking about being, blindly optimistic. We're not talking about whitewashing and ignoring things that are not going well in your life. But it's more a matter of where do we put our focus and attention. And in those two examples, the focus certainly could be on what's not working, or the focus could be on the gift, even the tiniest little something, the gift of that flower that grew up between the cracks in the sidewalk. We can look for the beauty. We can look for the gift. We can look for the good intention behind somebody's action. I recently discovered that my website that was built with great skill and also great expense, that there was a little glitch that we just discovered. What was happening is that wonderful opportunity that people could say, contact us. There was no connection back to me. So for months, and I mean many, many months, we discovered that people had been contacting me, but I had no idea. They were saying things like, Billie, we want to learn more about your work. Billie, I want to know about your training. Please get in touch with me. And those messages were pretty much lost in cyberspace, or wherever the expression would be. They were pushed to the side and I didn't know about them. So where is the gratitude in that? Well, I'm grateful that we discovered it, because we've now put in the correction. Now when people say, contact us, and they fill in the form, I get notified, and I can reach out and I can connect with those people. The other thing I'm grateful for is that probably everything else on the website has worked pretty well. And just today, I gave a call to my web designer, and I pointed this out to him so that I could even more completely let go of any strains, any last little threads of resentment or disappointment or anger. And I love the fact that right away, as soon as I called him, he said, "Oh my gosh, what a screw up. I am so sorry." And see, that's the other thing we can do for each other when we've made a mistake, to quickly and graciously admit it. To simply say, "That was on me. I made the error. I'm so sorry." He said, and I asked, "Would you please, for my peace of mind, would you remind or tell me that you in fact will be mindful of this going forward?" And he said, "Absolutely." We had a beautiful conversation. We ended it with admitting that it was a mix-up and a screw-up, and that we had something more, and that is the gratitude that most things on the website are working beautifully, and that in fact it does support my business. And beyond all that, I was so grateful that Tom and I were able to return to our connection, return to our friendship, return to the realization that that is what happened, and it's an opportunity to look to the future. So that, I guess, is what we could be grateful for, but you're probably noticing that in that story there's a lot of forgiveness that went on. And I just think sometimes that gratitude and forgiveness are two sides of the same coin. So I've told you that story. I have one more quote to read to you. This is from Ellen Vaughn, and it's from a book called Radical Gratitude. He tells the story of a Vietnam vet coming back from having been a POW. My own father-in-law was a POW in World War II. And not only does this story, but the stories that I was told by my father-in-law really give this example a meaning and context. And that is, when these men came home from being POWs in war, they looked around and saw people complaining, and made commitments to not do that, to not complain about something that was going on in their world when they saw that they had so much. So I invite you and me and all of us to use this wonderful Thanksgiving time to look around, to find it. Find it in the middle of a pandemic, find it in the middle of an upsetting election, find it in the middle of the fact that you and I do not get to spend Thanksgiving surrounded by family and friends in the way that we've maybe done for years. Find a way to be grateful. If you have a set of china, bring it out. Bring it out and be grateful that you have, like I do, my grandmother's china. And if it's a dinner for two, so be it. Be grateful that you have some food. Be grateful that you have Zoom to connect with people, or however you do that, that you have love in your heart, that you have friends, that you have family. We are going to get through this. We shall get through this, and I would hope that we would end up being the ones on the other side of this that didn't forget to be grateful for each and every gift that we're given every single day. Please join me as we conclude now in a little time of centering again and prayer. Breathing again so freely and with so much gratitude in our hearts. We remember that we can in fact regard our lives as gifts. That we can in fact know that we are here not by entitlement, but that we're here because Spirit found itself lovingly giving to our very life. I am grateful for my life this day. I'm grateful for everything in it. I'm grateful for the challenges. I'm grateful for the mistakes. I'm grateful for the opportunity to reconnect in love with a colleague, knowing that all can be forgiven and we can each move forward from this experience. We recognize that the good was in the connection, the good was in the intention to do good. And so I accept that for each one listening to this uplift today, that there's something that we can look around and find that we can be grateful for, and that expands and that changes us, because it changes our thinking, it changes our attitude, it changes our life, and it changes our connections with others. Thank you, Spirit, for the opportunity to be a beacon of joy and forgiveness and gratitude this day. I know I am that. I know it's who we are. I know it's how we show up. I release this with great joy, and so it is. Amen. Again, we thank you so much for joining us on Uplift. It is the joy and the privilege of Vision to bring this to you each and every day, joining us at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Please do enjoy your day. Remember to say yes to opportunities. Remember to say yes with an open heart, and remember to be grateful.